Hey everybody, it's Coach Keaton. Hope you're doing well and that you had a great spring break, that you're ready to get back to it. I know it's still a weird time right now, but I'm excited to go ahead and jump into Unit 8, and I appreciate the work that many of you guys have been doing over the past few weeks. Hopefully, again, you had a good time to be able to just kind of chill out during spring break and not really worry about schoolwork and that kind of stuff. So again, if you have any questions about anything, don't hesitate to email me or text me through Zoom, not Zoom, but through Remind, and just let me know. Certainly praying for you guys and want to serve you guys the best that I can. So just wanted to give you a kind of a brief little lecture on Unit 8. Unit 8, here we are talking about, we're moving into the Industrial Revolution, and that's going to lead to imperialism, and then after imperialism into World War II. So this unit's about 6 days long, so we're going to move pretty fast and furious through everything, but I just wanted to go ahead and make sure that I kind of hit the highlights at least on the Industrial Revolution. So what we see here in the 1800s, 18th and 19th century, we start to see this new boom in economic development that's taking place, mainly as a result of the agricultural revolution. Okay, we see this major shift from kind of the rural, out in the country type of living and development to more of an industrialized or urbanization of cities, okay? And with this major increase that's fueled primarily through the agricultural production and the agricultural revolution, we start to see, of course, a huge output of food. That food is able to not only support large population growth, but what we also see is that now there's surplus, okay? There's surplus in food that is then able to be used in trade. So food that's not being consumed by those that are growing it or kind of the local economy now can be used within trade, okay? This is something we've seen throughout history. Remember, all the way back to the hunters and gatherers, whenever they began to settle in that Fertile Crescent area, and they were able to start doing farming on their own, what did we see? We saw that they took that surplus. Remember, that surplus was then able to be used in a bartering system, in a trade system that enabled them to get other things that they did not have for themselves, okay? So we also see that during this time, this development, now we see that people are starting to have more time on their hands, and then whenever they have more time on their hands, that leads to what? More time to think, more time to troubleshoot, more innovations, okay? New technology that can then be put in place to help make life better, enable them to do things easier, right? So as the result of this, we see the invention of machines, and that machinery then begins to, produce more than people can, okay? And then there's less need for humans to do things and animals to power those things. And this new machinery starts to see that people are now being displaced. Okay, people are moving from, they begin to start moving from farms out in rural Great Britain. This is where the Industrial Revolution is birthed. Okay, and they start to move from these rural kind of country areas, moving into cities. All right, during this time, we see the development of something that is an absolute game changer. All right, it's the steam engine. And this steam engine begins to provide power. It powers factories, trains, locomotives, ships, okay? And within all of this, they begin to use another resource that is plentiful there in Great Britain, which is coal and iron, okay? And they use those natural resources there in Great Britain to begin to build and fuel the things that they need to see this Industrial Revolution continue to gain momentum, okay? During this time too, as a result of that, the increase in trade and needing to get these goods from one place to another, we start to see the development of canals and roads that make transportation a whole lot easier, that can connect cities across Great Britain. Okay, now of course we end up seeing this idea take root in other countries, even in the United States down the road. But during this time, here in the Industrial Revolution, it's primarily here in Great Britain. Okay, so factories are beginning to be built. Goods are being enabled to be produced a whole lot quicker. And while this is good in some aspects, it's not good in others. All right, certainly there's a balance there. We start to see that there's an environmental impact, where these cities that were once lightly populated now are overpopulated. These new machines, these factories have made the environment extremely dirty, the air not good for people, and then there's also overcrowdedness. And for those people that are working in these factories, there are terrible, terrible working conditions. All right. We also see during the Industrial Revolution a move to large-scale production. Okay, let me give you an example. Okay, so here's Brittany. Brittany owns a bowl company. It's not even really a bowl company, but Brittany makes bowls, okay? And she makes her bowls and she takes them down to the local market every day and she sells bowls to people in that area. And Brittany by herself can make about, I don't know, let's just say 10 bowls a day, okay? Now, Brittany, because it's the Brittany Bowl Company, Brittany knows how to make the bowls. She makes the bowls. She makes the money off the bowls. She works when she wants to work. She doesn't work when she doesn't want to work. All that, she controls everything, her schedule, her profits, everything. The Industrial Revolution starts to see this change. All of a sudden now, here comes the Big Bowl Company. Okay, and the Big Bowl Company, because of the development of machinery and things like that. Now, the Big Bowl Company can come in, and one person working a machine can make, let's just say, 100 bowls a day. All right, and now Brittany starts to find herself out of a job because the Big Bowl Company has taken the market. So what we see is now Brittany can maybe she can go to work for the Big Bowl Company, and with the Big Bowl Company, she can work the machine. She's not really even making the bowls anymore. She's just running the machine that's making the bowls. And because of that, she no longer is making the profits. She's getting a wage. She's getting paid, okay, but it's probably not a lot at all, probably not even what she was making before. She's working in horrible working conditions. She's told when to work, and she has no control. This is something that we start to see as a major development during the Industrial Revolution. Okay, people's lives are changed forever. And more than likely, Brittany lived out in rural Great Britain, okay? And now for Brittany to have a job, she's had to move to the city to take a job in a factory making bowls for the Big Bowl Company. All right. Other things that we start to see that are developed during this time that really change things are things like the power loom. It can make fabrics, the spinning wheel. All these things are now put in place that change production. It's mass production. Okay. We also see the mass production of steel that makes tools. It makes machinery, steam engines, and ships. And life as you know it in Great Britain has totally changed now. In 1750, all right, so midway through the 18th century, we see that in Great Britain, only about 15% of the people lived in a town or a city, only 15%, okay? The other 85% are living out in rural Great Britain. Within 100 years, we see that more than 50% of Great Britain people in England are now living in a city, and just 50 years after that, in 1900, 85% are now living in cities. Why? Because the Industrial Revolution has moved their culture, their country to this. We see this happen really throughout the world as the Industrial Revolution takes place. So that's kind of the Industrial Revolution in a nutshell. You're going to hear more things. You're going to learn more things in this unit about that. And then as a result of the Industrial Revolution, we see that that there is now this push for imperialism as a result of this. So we're going to talk about that more as we dive into imperialism and exactly what that is and how was imperialism fueled by the Industrial Revolution. And then at the end of this unit, we'll dive into World War I and see what that is all about. So again, I hope that you're doing well. I know that I just threw a whole lot at you right there, but I hope that some of that stuck. And then as you're reading or watching some videos or things like that we're doing in this unit, that you guys, be able to grasp this more. I know that you will. I miss you guys terribly. Hope that you're doing well. I'm praying for you each day and praying that we get through this as quickly as possible. I'd love to certainly get back in the classroom. I miss you guys every day. So if you need anything, let me know, and we'll talk to you later. See that fly? Take care.